Hello, it is lunchtime. We're in the car. So the job this week, we're at a golf course near to me, and we're in the yard where they tip, and we have been sourcing through this material, which is nice sandy soil, and at the far end of the yard behind their little blue screener there's some more sand. So I brought half the sand over this morning, threw it in with this soil and mixed it all up. Now I'm going to bring the other half, I think there's maybe another 20 tons, bring that over, tip it at the bottom of the pile and cast it up on top, and then mix it all in with the soil to make a real nice blend sandy root zone for them to use. We've got the Lloyd screener bucket. I'll get some video of that working. Obviously I'll get some video up on the pile, turning all the material ready for screening. So that's where we're up to. After lunch I'm going to drop the end con off, put the bucket, mount the bucket straight on and get the last of the sand over, then climb back on top of this pile and get it all ready for screening tomorrow. There'll be, I think it's probably 200 tons, maybe a touch more. Get it all in a pile and see. Alright, we'll get some footage of that and some footage of the screener bucket. I really rate these buckets, very, very nice things. So anyone looking for a screener bucket, I would highly recommend a Lloyd, and you'll be able to see it working later in the video. Alright, we'll see you then. Alright, so we've got the sand moved over, just getting that now, throwing it up on this pile. The camera angle's not great, just getting everything in one place. You can see there in the background I've dropped the tilt rotator off, got the bucket straight on. Camera up and show you. I'm going to get all this material into one big pile as we are doing there and seal it up. It's meant to rain tonight. My plan is to screen tomorrow. Screen the bucket there. So if I can get it all in a pile now, square the pile up, flatten it off on top, it won't soak up a lot of rain. The material is nice and dry anyway. Obviously the sand's dry, but even the soil that was here before, you'll see in a second, is absolutely bone dry. Let me track down, spin round and get this last bit shut up. I like to get it all mixed in thoroughly because I want a nice blend of sand and soil. I don't want big patches of the pile where when they come to use the material they go in with the tractor bucket and just get a big scoop full of pure sand. That's no good. It needs to be mixed up to not perfect, but it needs to be sandy soil, not sand, because there will be turfing on it. So you can see now this last bit is sort of 50-50 sand and soil. So what I like to do is get a soily bucket full, throw that up. I'll do two actually, it's sandy up there now. Another bucket full of soil, throw that up. Apologise, I do need to buy a mount so I can put this phone in a bit of a better spot so you can see more. Sandy one up there. Soily one. As you can see, I'm just mixing it as I throw it up, and it will mix all together. sand and soil all together in the bucket, so that'll mix nice. Just we throw it up there. Been a great day, been dry all day, bit of sunshine, bit of wind, everything's drying nicely, so the material will be lovely to screen tomorrow. As I've been going through this, I've been flicking out any big bits of timber or logs that I don't want to go in the screener bucket, because you'll see them, so they don't do any harm, but they slow you down because you're stopping to flick them out all the time. So any that I can flick out during this process, I always do. I always allow a day. If there's 200 or 300 tons of material that needs rocking up into a pile and tidied up before you start screening, having to scrape up, get the yard straight and tidy, get a nice flat area to put the screen material onto so they can get to it with the loader tractor and load it up. I allow a day for tidying up, getting the material into one pile, and also sorting through it a bit, making sure there's nothing too ridiculous in it. Generally at the golf courses though, you see this material in the bucket here, we're usually dealing, look at that, nice sandy soil. We're not really screening any crap. It's not full of hardcore and clay and stuff. It's on these links courses that are sand based, it's always nice sandy stuff. Sometimes some of them we're going to do here as well. What they do is mix in some wood chip, so when they take trees down and get all the brass chipped, they mix that in with the soil and the material that they generate over that year. And the wood chip composts, you have to give it a year, and you know, usually turn it as well. I have done, I don't know if I've done a video of that, but another golf course that I go to, we do that. We screen this year's stuff. While I'm there, we turn the pile that we're going to screen next year, so it gets a bit of air through it, and that just helps speed up the composting of the wood chip and everything that's in there mixed in. And it does make really good material. Obviously you have to be ahead of the game, you need to be a year in advance, but once you've done 1 year and got a pile, you're away then, because you screen that and use that year, and then everything, all the waste that you generate while you're using that material gets put in a pile, and you screen that and use that the next year. So once you've had a 12-month wait, the ball is rolling then, and you're away, and you've always got stuff composting for the following year. And that works really well, makes good material, very rich. It means that you can get quite a lot of nutrients into the material. Although it is sandy, you've got a good percentage of composty material in there, so you can have a nice lean mix that drains well, but the grass will grow because there's enough nutrients in there. It's rich enough to grow grass on, no problem. And that's becoming something that these golf courses are all trying to do now. It makes them more sustainable, and all this material, there'll be, I don't know, let's say there's 200 tons. This is all waste that they've generated since I was here screening last year. So they've generated this in a year, and it'll make lovely material. It saves them buying it in. To buy this material in, root zone now is around, let's call it £35 a tonne. I think it might be slightly more, but let's say 35. So if you've got 200 tons of material here, times 35 is £7,000. Now if I can come, spend a couple of days, screen it all, and it costs you £6 or £7 a tonne, and it's native to your site, which is important. It's material from the site, it's the same. The turf that you put down or the seed that you sow will grow the same as the rest of the site. You won't have an odd looking patch that's different because you bought some material that isn't really the same as what you've got and doesn't match. Equally, you've also got the benefit that there was 200 tons of waste tipped in here, and the yard, in terms of tipping in, was full. By the time I've screened, we will probably have 10 tonnes of waste and 200 tonnes of good material. So you've then got a big pile of material ready to use for your projects, £7,000 worth, and also you've cleared all that space where you can now go again for this year's work and tip. Where if you didn't screen, you would constantly be having to move material and get it out of the way so you could continue to work if you want to do winter projects, which most of these golf courses now do. So it's win-win really, and obviously, like I said before, money-wise, you're talking about probably less than 25% of the cost of buying the material in. So if you're a head greenkeeper looking at your budget and you think, oh, I'm going to have to spend 30 grand on root zone this year, if you've got a huge pile of material that you've generated over the years that's never had anything done with it, you could screen that in a few days for maybe 5 grand and you've got your material, so you'd save over £20,000 and you've got money in your budget then for something else. A lot of the time, the last couple of jobs I've done where I've been and done a job, and we've done a job on the course and we've also done screening, the money saved from the budget with the material screening, oh, drop you. The money saved in the budget from screening, hang on, I don't know what I've done here. We've done something. Anyway, I think we're still on. I don't know what's happened. The money the club has saved with screening and not buying material in has more than paid for my time doing the job that they wanted doing on the course, and also a lot of the time it works out numbers wise where the money saved on root zone that would have had to be bought in, for example, for a grass path, the money saved on buying a root zone has paid to put the irrigation and drainage in. So it works. It's a no-brainer really. You can't lose, because you're generating this material, this huge pile of material is going to be generated whether you are buying root zone in or not. This material that's been excavated by the lads is going to be generated whether you buy material in or screen. So you might as well make use of it and free up the space, screen it and save a load of money, as just sit there and look at it and fill your tip up for not much benefit at all. So there you go. Again, another job where superb, being able to drop the tilt rotator off, just got the bucket straight on the hitch as you can see, doing something like this, rocking this material up ready for screening. Absolutely no need to have the tilt rotator on the machine at the moment, and it's saving 2 or 3 hours worth of work, which the tilt rotator it's not saving 2 or 3 hours worth of work, it's saving the tilt rotator from doing 2 or 3 hours worth of work unnecessarily by being left on the machine. And that is great for protecting my investment because they're expensive, and anything I can do to make it last longer and not wear out prematurely, I will absolutely be doing. Alright, that material's all thrown in a pile. I'm just going to have a quick tidy up. So we've got a nice flat area to screen into tomorrow, and I will get a bit more video outside of the machine shortly that you can see where we're at and show you what the plan is, and I'll get the dog out as well. Alright, see you shortly. Okay, ready for screening. Materials all in one pile, ready to go. Mixed up really nice. Lovely sandy soil that. If it does rain tonight, that won't catch any harm. There's a good pile of it. I'd say there's 10 loads there, there'd be 200 tonne. I've just put the tilt rotator back on. First thing I have to do in the morning is take it off, put the screener bucket on, but I tell you what, I just didn't fancy leaving it off, sat on the deck. If someone did roll in and take it, I would be very, very upset. So I thought, put it back on, take it off in the morning. So the last job I need to do is I need to go and get a fitting for, I need to swap that fitting to suit that. So I need to put a 1-inch male, well, same as that, onto there. I've got the 1-inch female on this side. I hired the screener bucket out and the guy to change the fittings. To be fair, I needed to do it anyway, because these agricultural fittings with this collar, they're not the best. They wanted to swap into flat face anyway, but when I bought them, the guy didn't have anything the right size other than that, so we used that for the time being. Anyway, they're going to get swapped. I'm going to go and get those now and swap them over in the morning. It's only the one on the bucket needs swapping. I hired this bucket out a couple of weeks ago. I wish I never bothered now, because as you can see in the back there, we've put 2 new stars in. They were next to each other, but we've spaced them just to spread the wear. The guy using it must have got a stick stuck right through and not bothered taking it out, and left it, and it melted one of the stars right down. So what we had to do was take this guard off. That exposes all the gears and the chain drive. Split 2 chains, pull that shaft out, take the bearing off the end, slide all the stars off, take the 2 knackered ones off, 2 new stars in, slide all the stars back on, put it back together. Not ideal, but we had it in the workshop anyway, so that we could put the headstock on to suit the Encon. So we did it all in the same day. It wasn't the end of the world, and he has been billed for the repair, but I'll show you now. Look at that. That's what's left of the star that they melted. Obviously can't leave that in because it'll let loads of stones through that sort of size, and these guys want fine material, they don't want it full of stones, so it had to be done. Alright, so we're all tidied up. This is the golf course's little screener with a 10mm mesh in it, so they do a little bit every now and again for filling in divots on the course, so they make some real nice fine, really fine sandy stuff. Lovely stuff. Slow, but they don't need a lot. A ton at a time, 2 ton at a time is fine for what they use that for. It's a good little machine. Does what it says in the tin. The screener bucket's so much faster, and we can knock this down to 18mm, this stuff, which will do for 90% of the jobs, and then this just does the fine stuff purely if you're going out divoting. So we've tidied up here, the sand pile, trapped it all in. This is all the crap from last time we screened, and that pile there is full of tree stumps and branches, so when I'm screening tomorrow, everything off this pile that stays in the bucket that's no good is going to get thrown on there, and the good stuff is going to get screened just letting the digger run for a couple of minutes, warm down before I turn it off. Oh look, little goldfinch or something there following us around. Yeah, so this space I've left here is going to be where all the good screen stuff gets stacked up in a good pile for them to go at. So yeah, we're ready to get away, go and get my fittings and ready for screening in the morning. So I'll get a video, screener bucket working, and that'll be about all there is to show you on this job after I've shown you the screener bucket working. That is an impressive piece of kit though, it's good. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, it's Wednesday morning, we're on the pile screening, got the adapter on the pipe for the quick release fittings for the screener bucket, first job, that's piped up, working, and we're on with it. I'll show you this bucket working a bit. Nice sandy material as we said yesterday, so going through a dream, there you go, you can see that there. And I'll just show you inside the bucket if I can. The way this bucket works, oh there you go, you can see, they're lovely. It turns the material up and in the bucket, so you see that how it's moving there. So it doesn't tear, because the stars are flicking the material up rather than pulling it down. It doesn't tear up. See those, if I get a bucket with a lot of weeds in and turf and stuff like that, it doesn't break it and pull it through with the soil. It just rolls it over and it retains it inside the bucket, which means you don't get lots of contaminants in your soil, which is great. I wouldn't want to use this bucket for general muck away, clay, bricks, all that kind of stuff. It's not designed for that. You want a trommel bucket really. See how it's kept all that material in there. So for rough stuff you want a trommel with a steel drum because it'll take a bit more abuse. This style of bucket with the nylon stars is designed for screening soil and removing twigs, like they are, twigs, roots, the odd brick, bits of turf, that kind of stuff. It's not for general muck away, reducing your waste and getting hardcore clean ready for crushing. That is not what the bucket is designed for. But doing soil, like it is designed for, very hard to beat. This will do, in good material like this, about 40 tonnes an hour if you're just putting it into a pile next to you. Between 30 and 40 anyway. I've never weighed it, but you can gauge by the pile of the, you can gauge by the size of the pile you've got after an hour roughly what it's doing. And that I've got there in the picture is about an hour's worth, so you can, there's a good pile there for an hour's worth of screening. And I particularly like the fact that because you're sat on the pile with the bucket on the machine, you can place the material exactly where you want it. If you've got a standalone stationary screener, a big trommel or whatever, they're great because you can put a massive amount of material through them, no doubt, but you need to run the screener itself, you need a machine to load it, and you also need ideally a loading shovel or a telehandler at the bottom running round the machine to clear the material away from the belts. So you really need 2 or 3 men, because you do need eyes in the back of your head when running the big screeners. You've got to be watching the belts and everything else. So you need 3 machines running and a minimum of 2 men to be efficient and run it. And you are moving material 2 or 3 times because you are only putting the material down where the belt ends. Obviously it just drops it on the floor at the end of the belt. Whereas this, I could load it, I could screen straight into dumpers, I could screen straight into a trailer, I could be screening into this pile, and if they wanted to take material for a job they're on today, as soon as they roll in, I could screen into their dumper or tractor, and then once they're gone taking their load, continue screening into the pile. Very versatile, handy. Also, setup time is plugging 2 pipes in. I can put it in the back of my pickup, I wouldn't want to go far with it, but I can put it in the back of my pickup and bring it. Oh, could you do some screening tomorrow? Yeah, no problem, I'll go to the yard and get the screener bucket. Whereas, if you've got a big trommel screen, or a big live head screen, you haven't got that flexibility to be, well, you might have, but end of the day, this is very handy for me, for what I'm doing. I go to these golf courses, you might do 50 tons, you might do 100 tons, you might do 500 tons. It works, it's good. The value in the material makes it very, very efficient and cost effective for the golf club as well. So it's a no-brainer, and it has done exactly what I wanted it to. My idea behind the screener bucket was the golf course job in the summer is a bit quieter because courses aren't as keen to do work on the course because the golfers are paying to play, and if in the middle of summer, the season, if you will, if you start closing holes or shortening holes, they feel that they're not getting what they're paying for, which I totally understand. So this bucket was bought with a view to give me another avenue for doing more work for my golf course customers that I've already got. And like now, it's August, the golf course is mad busy for certainly 11 hours of the day, and I'm in the yard, out the way, golfers wouldn't even know I was here, and it's generated more work for an existing customer. Talking of golfers not even knowing I'm here, this bucket is extremely quiet as well. It hardly makes any noise at all, so you could be screening at the side of somebody's house or wherever, nobody's going to complain. Whereas some screeners, the time you get a screener, 2 machines running, they are loud. So there you go, this is a very good tool. Have a closer look there and see. Can you see? Let's bring it in a bit closer. So those shafts all turn with the stars on them, and the material falls through the gaps, which are set at 18mm, which is perfect really for this. You can buy shims to take it down to, I think, 10mm, 8 or 10, not sure. Obviously, the smaller you go, the less tonnage you'll get per hour. But 18mm for this material, for what they need to use it for, is more than adequate. It's lovely stuff to work with, and it does help, as I said before, the fact that you are screening what is already good material. It's sandy, it's nice, we're just taking the bits, the lumps out. So you can't fail to make good stuff. You can buy the most expensive screener in the world, but if you're screening bad material, you will struggle to make good material out of it. It doesn't matter what you do. There you go. You can see how quickly it processes a bucket full. Very efficient. Hoping to get through this pile, most of it today, I'm sure I will, and then I might just need to move. Well, I don't know actually, if I can get it all, keep pushing it back, get it all stacked up in one spot, they'll be more than happy with it sitting here. It's in a good spot for them coming in, getting at it with the loader tractor and loading trailers and what have you. I'm sure it'll suit them if it stays there. we need to move a bit. If we need to just throw it back and use the trap perhaps, we will. But yeah, I'll be done here tomorrow and off to the next job. Job next week is another golf course up the coast, north. I am cleaning out a pond. It's got badly silted up over the years. It was never really deep enough, and this golf course wants to run some fountains in it, so they just need it making deep enough so as they don't get quite as much vegetation growing in it. There's a lot of reeds in it, all that kind of stuff, so if we can make it a bit deeper all over and then dig a couple of deeper spots in the middle so they can get a fountain in, so it's not going to suck up any muck and debris. That is that job. And then obviously all the material that comes out, we've got some areas in the course where we're going to tip that and shape it, some nice mounding, and they can seed it and be a little feature to separate two holes. Right, there's not really anything more to show you. I'm going to be sat doing this for the rest of the day. Screen, make a nice pile of room zone for them. Happy customer. Alright, well, on that note, I'll call this the end of the video, and I'll see you on the next job. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.